Some of you have told yourself in your New Year resolution that eventually this year you will begin to create content. And rightly so, because we have been told, and it is not a lie, that attention is what can bring money in this generation. I just do not understand the mindset around the kind of content that is being created. I don't really want to focus on that, but when we are talking about actually creating this content, a lot of us believe that you have to now begin to show your face like this. You have to begin to create videos before you can actually begin to create content. And it is a misconception, because every content can follow the same pattern, and it does not even have to be a video. There was a time when, starting a blog post, starting a blog and creating content on the blog was what was reigning, especially in this part of the world. Eventually, it transitioned from that into actually shooting videos. But that does not mean that creating content in terms of text is not content. It does not mean that when you are creating content with text, you are still not building a personal brand, because at the end of the day, that is the point of everything that we are doing: building a personal brand, creating something that we can always reach out to, that people can actually know us for. But then it does not have to be you creating a video like this. And this is coming from me, that I have actually started to create video for the past 2 years. I never owned a blog, so I cannot particularly relate on that end. But it does not mean that owning a blog or just creating content in terms of text or graphics online still will not build you a personal brand. But like I said, that is not something that I want to focus on. I actually want to focus on whether it is a video that you want to be creating or you want to be doing it as a form of text. There are certain things that we have to put into consideration, that I am still putting into consideration at the point when I am creating a personal brand. And I'm going to be talking about 3 of those things in today's video. This is the point where you should be clicking on the subscribe button, so that you are going to be notified whenever I'm creating some videos like this in the future, right? So as I said earlier, we're going to be talking about 3 key elements that is instrumental whenever you are creating a personal brand. Remember, it does not matter if it's a video or if it is text. These things work across board. And the first thing is authenticity, right? You have to be genuine. You have to be real. You have to create a structure that actually highlights your strength and builds on that. If you are someone that talks a lot, you should be creating content that can show that, okay, this person can actually talk a lot. And like I said, even if you talk a lot, it does not mean that you cannot write a lot as well. You can write your words like you are talking, because at the end of the day, that is the greatest part of copywriting. Writing words like you are actually having a one-on-one conversation with someone. So you can record yourself talking and then turning it into text and pushing it out exactly that way. You just have to check for errors. So you have to ensure that you are authentic. Create something that is connected to you. Last week I created a video on storytelling, and I also mentioned this genuine connection with people. The truth is, if you are authentic and you are real with the kind of content, it is definitely going to show, because the human brain is going to pick these subtle signs subconsciously. They don't even have to know. So you have to ensure that everything that you are doing, you're not faking it. And when I mean that you're not faking it, it's something that you're comfortable doing. There are some of us that, we are not particularly comfortable showing our faces the way I am showing mine at the moment. Like I said, it can always come as a form of text. In fact, you can create videos that are not showing your faces, no face videos, right? Or text, depending on what you are comfortable with. You just have to do something that, from the level that you are at that point, that is the best that you can give. Imagine yourself in the midst of your friends. Imagine how lively you can be in the midst of your friend. At the point when you are putting the pen to paper, you are looking at it as if you are talking to someone that is a friend, someone that is very close to you. The way you are going to have conversation. The truth is, no matter how shy we are, there are people that we are comfortable with, and that when we are in their presence or when they are with us, we open up. It opens up that part of us that can hold these conversations. And that is the point where you want to be whenever you want to be shooting videos, or when you want to be creating any form of content, whichever kind of content you want to create. Because at the end of the day, this is how your content can be authentic and can remain a real content. So be authentic. It is extremely important when it comes to creating content. Don't do something because someone else is doing it, because that might be the person's strength, and at the end of the day, that might not be your own strength. There are certain people that create content because they love to dance and they shoot videos around dancing. You cannot say that because they are dancing, that their dancing videos is gaining a ton of traction. You, like me, that do not know how to dance, will now wants to start something similar. At the end of the day, you are going to make a mess of yourself online, and instead of becoming a sensation, you are going to become an object of mockery. And now imagine someone that is shy, and then you push out something online, and instead of people to actually give credible information about it, they begin to mock you. Some people will say that any form of attention on social media is still attention, but then it is not particularly an attention, especially if you are trying to build something that is consistent. If you are trying to build something that is that is not just going to die down in 1 or 2 weeks, everything that you have to do, you should have it at the back of your mind that you want to be known for this. Do you want to be known as an object of mockery? Definitely not. And since you don't want to be known as that, you have to ensure that you are actually authentic, you are actually real. That is why you're going to find people that are extremely funny. It is easier for them to generate traction online because, you know, from what they do, that is funny. I don't believe there can be a comedian that forces it. Right? So if a comedian cannot force it, then it means whatever it is that you are doing, you should not force it as well. And it doesn't have to be a dance. It doesn't have to be something around dancing. I don't dance as well. And I'm not a comedian. I wanted to say I don't believe I'm a comedian when I am not a comedian. And I still do this. You can find a ton of persons. You just have to find, okay, you want to be creating food content. You want to be creating exploration content. There is already someone that does something similar to that. Find that person out. Research on that person. Look at when the person started. Go back. If the person has been using YouTube, go back to the videos that the person was creating when the person started. Study what the person was doing then, because at the end of the day, you can also start with what the person was doing then and see the trajectory. You will always find someone that has started to do something a little bit similar to what you want to do. And that is where I said you cannot want to be creating educational content and making your role model a comedian. Because at the end of the day, for the most part, comedy in this part of the world comes from the place of portraying yourself as someone that is, what's the word here? A mumu, something like that. Someone that is not particularly wise, right? But if you want to be creating educational content, that is the worst position you want to place yourself. You have to ensure that or show that you actually know what you are saying. And it comes from the actual confidence, you know, of exactly what it is that you are doing. These things is very important, especially, and that's why I said authenticity has to be top notch. You have to ensure that what you are doing is actually something you are comfortable doing and you're not forcing it. So the second thing is consistency, right? You cannot be authentic enough. No matter how authentic you are, you will not be able to create a pattern, because pattern is extremely important when it comes to building a personal brand. You have to ensure that what you are doing and what people can see in everything that you do, that there is something that people can see in what you are doing. That pattern is there, but you know, a pattern is not there. You know, even when we were in school and then we study, I've forgotten this aspect of maths that we use, ellipses, right? The pattern is not going to form out as a full pattern if this thing is not consistent. They will tell you, they will give you 3 words or 3 letters and tell you to continue, write the 5th letter because they've given you 3, because you have been able to see the pattern between the first 2 and then the second and the third, and then the third and the fourth. You will be able to study that pattern, notice what the difference, what is similar amongst that, to know what is coming next. And that is why consistency is important. Imagine saying that, okay, there is 1, 3, 5, and then 1, 3, 5, 7, and then they are saying find the 5th word, you find the 5th letter. You already know that between 1 and 3, 2 is the difference. Between 3 and 5, 2 is the difference. Between 5 and 7, 2 is the difference. Automatically the pattern has been created because of how consistent it is. Now imagine, and then you instantly know that the next word is going to be 9. But now imagine you are trying to create a pattern, or they say find the 5th one, and then they said number 1 is 3, and then they said you should find the second one. That is not a pattern, and that is why you have to be consistent. Apart from the fact that you're authentic and then you have found out something that you want to repeat on your videos, you now have to be consistent, because that is how you stay on the minds of people. That is how you connect to the minds of people. Now, it does not have to be an entire structure. It can be a word that you use in your content. It can be the way you introduce yourself in your content. It just has to be something that is extremely consistent, that whenever they see this particular thing, they can attribute it to you. It can even be the industry that you work. It can be a keyword in the industry that you work. That's okay, this is the kind of, everything that this person does is within this frame. Now, like I said, after understanding what you want to ensure that this thing is something that I am known for, the way it stays on the mind of people is if you continue to do it. And that is where the consistency that I mentioned comes in, because it is extremely important. That is how you can create the pattern. And if you have not created the pattern, you have not particularly created the personal brand, because at the end of the day, there has to be something that you are known for. There has to be something that you are known for. You see, maybe in the marketing industry, you might see that, okay, this person creates videos on marketing alone. Something I'm trying to do. You can see that, okay, this person creates video on, you know, self-awareness alone or health tips alone. You can find ways to, you know, make it funny and make it entertaining and engaging. But the central idea still has to focus on that one thing that you want to be known for. And, you know, I feel like I'm saying two things in one at this point. Finding out something that you want to be known for and be consistent about it, because that is how you can now create a pattern from it. And this thing is very important. I gave the example earlier. You cannot have a clear pattern if you are not consistent with the similarities in the kind of content that you create. There is no two ways about it. Ensure that there is something that is similar. It can be the color of the dress you wear. It can be your background. It can be the frame that you use in your background. It can be a word that you say. It can be the first thing that you say whenever you are getting in front of the camera. It can be the kind of things that you say. It can be anything. It can be how you even hold your mic. Just know that this is something that people want to look forward to whenever they are seeing your content. And the way they can look forward to it is if you have done it time and time and time and time again. Let's move to the third one so that this video does not really get too long. And then the third one, after authenticity and consistency, the truth is that all of these things, they are not alphabet, they are not ascending or descending. I feel like for the most part, they are all on the same level. So the third one is going to be value. You cannot be authentic and be consistent with rubbish, right? You have to dish out value, and that is why you have to ensure that whatever it is that you are doing, you are actually creating value. This is where, you know, researching people that are already in the industry and that may be making waves. It is possible that there are not so much people that you can look up to in the same thing, but then you can definitely find something that you want to build in the kind of content that someone else is building, and you can replicate that, even if it is not the exact same kind. But for the most part, you will find the exact same kind. So it is very important that you give out value. The value in comedy is that it makes us laugh and we enjoy it. And that is why we always go back to watching these things. They make us laugh. And like I said, we actually enjoy it. And then we go back to watching it because we enjoy it. That is the value that it gives to us. When you are creating educational content, ensure that you're actually giving out something that people want to hear. Something that at the end of that content, they can say they would have picked something, which I hope at the end of this video, you can say that you would have picked one or two things from what I am saying. So value is extremely important. In fact, people say these days, if you are in the service industry like I am, you have to give out a lot more and then maybe charge people for implementation. Give out how it is done. Show people exactly how it is done. I'm thinking of creating a content these days around paid ads, either for Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, right? Creating content around paid ads. At the end of the day, people will still come to you to actually get it done. It is not, some will try to do it themselves. I've seen a ton of YouTube videos in my life that I also try to do myself. But at the end of the day, those people that actually do not have the time to do it, they will always come to you. And that is one selling point when it comes to, you know, selling. When it comes to, you know, selling, at the end of the day, you want to sell to people that do not have time to do it, and that is why they are coming to you to do it for them. When they see that this person actually knows how to do this thing from the content that you are creating, then they come to you to actually do it for them. So give out something that is extremely valuable. Sincerely, Alex or Moses says something that if you are not scared at the point when you are giving out something that you are giving out too much, then you have not even started to give out anything. And that resonated with me. It still resonates with me every single time. You have to be scared that have I not started giving out too much before you can now say, at this point, I am giving out enough value, right? Because at the end of the day, you can only talk about how it is done. You still have to show people, and that is why workshops are extremely important. You can sell out a book around how to do something, but people still want a physical class for actually showing them exactly how it is, that it is exactly how these things should be put together and be done. And either you are writing text or you are shooting videos like I am, you cannot put their hands into it to actually get it done. So you have to ensure that you are giving out premium value every single time. It is extremely important when it comes to creating content, you know, that connects to building a personal brand. At the end of the day, that is what it is. Whether you are conscious about it or not, once you begin to generate traction, people can connect something to what you do. And then they know that if I have a problem in this particular space, or if I want to do this thing, this is the person that I want to reach out to. This is the place that I want to go to. Because you have established yourself to be an authority in that field, to be an authority in that space. There are people that comedians look forward to. There are musicians that upcoming musicians look forward to. There are marketers that upcoming marketers look forward to. They did not just get there. They have established themselves as an authority in that particular industry. They've established themselves as an authority in that particular niche. And that is why newbies trying to break into that niche are looking up to them. Because when I say that you should research in the past, when I said it earlier in this video, that whenever you want to start to create content, research and see people that have started doing it before you. This is where you already are at this moment. Because after you have established yourself as this authority, you are now someone that newbies also research. That comes up at the end of their research when they are, trying to just get into the industry. So these are 3 things that's extremely important when it comes to creating content that leads to building a personal brand, because I am still building a personal brand myself. So I cannot particularly teach you how to build a personal brand. But these are things that I have learned, things that I am starting and I am trying to implement myself. And I feel like these things are going to be valuable to you as well. So I should not just keep the information to myself. Right? So once again, I'm going to say, please click on the subscribe button and the notification bell, so that whenever you get a video, so that whenever I create a video and I push it on my YouTube channel, you will be one of the first set of people to get notified about the video. So I feel like this is where I draw the curtain on this particular video.